All right, so today we're going to really dive deep into some fascinating stuff. The Strategic Coach Collection of Entrepreneurial Success Strategies Guides.
It's a pretty rich collection.
You've given us a huge stack of this material, and it's like having a cheat sheet
Yeah.
for how to build a thriving business, but
hmm
also like how to actually have a life outside of that business.
Absolutely. And it's a really rich cheat sheet. We're going to explore some powerful tools and concepts.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at a 5-step productivity plan that's specifically designed for entrepreneurs. We're going to be looking at goal setting, how to set goals that actually get results,
Mhm.
and even how to unlock something called your unique ability. Does that sound as intriguing to you as it does to me?
Intriguing and crucial, I think.
Yeah.
Understanding your unique ability is really one of the cornerstones of the strategic coach philosophy.
Okay, cool. So let's jump right into. Time management is something that I think pretty much every entrepreneur struggles with, right? How do we make the most of our time to grow our business and still have time for, sleep?
Yeah, it's a constant balancing act for sure.
Yeah.
And what I really appreciate about the material we're looking at today is that it emphasizes that traditional time management advice doesn't always apply to the unique demands of entrepreneurship.
Totally. Like all that, eat the frog stuff. It's like, yeah.
Right.
But what if you have like a whole pond full of frogs?
Yeah, exactly.
So this guide offers a different approach, a 5-step system created by Dan Sullivan, who's the founder of Strategic Coach.
Yes. And Sullivan's approach really flips the script on traditional productivity advice. Instead of focusing on, doing more in less time, he encourages entrepreneurs to really focus on doing the right things and delegating or eliminating everything else.
That's interesting because it's really about being strategic with your time and energy.
Mhm.
So what is step 1 in this 5-step system?
So step one is all about focusing on your strengths. The guide calls it do only what you love and are great at. It's about, identifying and leveraging your unique ability, those activities that energize you and others that you're passionate about and continually improving at.
Okay, so I'm already seeing a theme here. This unique ability, it seems like it's pretty important.
Yeah, and I think what's so powerful about this first step is that it really gives you permission to let go of the things that drain you, the tasks that feel like a chore. There's a great quote from Dan Sullivan in the guide that says, if you work throughout your life on improving your weaknesses, what you get are a lot of really strong weaknesses.
Ouch. That's a good one.
Yeah,
It's true. It's a reminder that we don't have to be good at everything.
right.
In fact, we're probably better off focusing on what we actually excel at naturally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that leads to, greater productivity and fulfillment because
Yeah.
you're spending your time doing what you love
Yeah.
and are naturally good at.
Okay, so step 1 is all about focusing on our strength and leveraging that unique ability. What about step 2?
So step two builds upon this idea of intentionality. It's about approaching every task or project with a clear purpose and desired outcome in mind.
I definitely struggled with this in the past. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day whirlwind and just kind of react to whatever comes up.
Right. That's the time and effort economy trap.
Yeah.
But entrepreneurs need to operate in the results economy.
Okay.
And so that's where the impact filter process comes in. It involves asking yourself 3 key questions before taking any action. So the questions are, what outcome do I want to achieve? What's the best case scenario? And what's the worst case scenario? And then what are my specific criteria for success?
Oh, I like that. So it's like almost a mini risk assessment and a goal-setting exercise all rolled into one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It forces you to be, strategic and intentional with your time and energy. You're not just, checking things off a to-do list. You're actually moving toward your desired outcomes.
So we've got our unique ability dialed in. We're approaching tasks with intention. What's next?
Okay, so step 3 is where things get really interesting. Delegate your schedule.
Ooh, delegate your schedule. That's
Yeah.
a big one. I think as entrepreneurs, we're kind of used to doing it all right, wearing all the hats. Delegation can feel a little scary sometimes.
It can, but Sullivan argues that, one of the best investments you can make as an entrepreneur is actually hiring a direct assistant to manage your schedule and shield you from distractions. He says it frees you up to really focus on what truly moves the needle in your business, what you do best, that unique ability again.
It makes sense logically, but letting go of that control can be so tough.
There's a story in the guide that really illustrates this point. There was a financial planner who was convinced he couldn't afford an assistant.
Oh, yeah.
But when he actually crunched the numbers, he realized he was losing money by not having one. He was spending so much time on administrative tasks that he wasn't able to focus on the high-value activities that actually generate revenue.
Yeah, that's a great example of how our mindset can sometimes hold us back. We
Mm.
think we're saving money by doing everything ourselves,
Right.
but we might be limiting our earning potential.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It's a powerful reminder that as entrepreneurs, we need to think of team members as investments, not expenses.
Ooh, I like that. Investments, not expenses.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're delegating our schedules, freeing up our time to focus on our unique ability. What's step 4 all about?
So step 4 takes delegation to the next level.
Yeah.
It's about building a team whose unique abilities complement your own, creating this synergy where everyone is doing what they love and are great at.
So you're creating a team of superstars, each with their own kind of unique superpower.
Exactly. And this leads into a concept that we'll explore more in depth later,
Yeah.
the self-managing company.
Okay.
The idea is that when you have the right people in the right roles doing what they love, the company can essentially run itself.
Whoa, that sounds amazing.
Right.
I can already feel
Yeah.
the stress melting away. Okay, so last step. What's step 5?
Oh, wait. Okay, step 5 is simple but powerful. Focus on results. Sullivan encourages entrepreneurs to ditch the timesheets and instead focus on achieving 3 important things each day.
Okay, so it's quality over quantity. Instead of trying to cram like a million tasks into our day,
Right.
we're focusing on making significant progress on the things that actually matter.
Exactly. And once those 3 things are done, you're done. No more guilt about not checking everything off a never-ending to-do list.
I love that. It's like giving yourself permission to stop working and actually go and enjoy life outside of work. And the guide even mentions a tool to help with this, something called a win streak.
Yes, it's an app that helps you track those daily wins, those 3 important things you achieve each day. It's all about shifting your mindset to winning and celebrating progress, which can be really motivating.
I like it. So we're not just focusing on results, we're also celebrating those wins along the way. It's a reminder to acknowledge our accomplishments and give ourselves credit for the progress that we're making.
Absolutely, and it's a great way to stay motivated, especially when you're facing challenges or setbacks, which are inevitable in the entrepreneurial journey.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I'm really liking this focus on intentionality and results. It makes sense. But now that we've tackled productivity, let's talk about goal setting. Because what good is like a super productive day if we're not actually working towards something meaningful, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Productivity without direction is just a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
You're working hard, but you're not necessarily getting anywhere.
So true. So what's the strategic coach approach to setting goals that actually move us forward?
Well, Dan Sullivan's framework really resonates with me here. He recommends thinking about your goals in 12 different categories that encompass like all areas of your life: business, personal, financial, relationships, health, you name it.
Wow, that's a pretty comprehensive approach. It makes sense, though. We're not just entrepreneurs, we're whole people with these multifaceted lives.
Exactly. And what I appreciate about this framework is that it really encourages you to create a balanced approach to your goal setting. Ensuring that you're not neglecting any important area of your life.
So it's not just about hitting those revenue targets, it's about creating a life that feels fulfilling and well-rounded. But let's be honest, setting goals is like the easy part. The real challenge is staying on track and actually achieving them.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's where the concept of a 20-year vision comes in. Sullivan recommends dividing your future into 2 10-year chunks: the setup for the next 10 years and the bigger future for the decade after that.
Okay, that's an interesting way to think about it. So the setup is all about laying the groundwork, building the skills and resources we need to achieve those big, audacious goals that we have for the bigger future.
Exactly. It's a very strategic approach to long-term goal setting, recognizing that achieving those big dreams often requires taking smaller incremental steps along the way.
It's like we're building a launch pad for those wildest dreams. I like that.
Yeah. And the guide also provides, some very practical strategies for setting goals that actually get results.
Okay, give me the goods. What are these magical strategies?
Well, first, it emphasizes the power of visualization. It suggests really getting specific about your desired outcome. Imagine yourself living that ideal reality in vivid detail. Even create a vision board or write a very detailed description of what your life will look like when you've achieved that goal.
So it's about tapping into the power of our imagination to create this compelling vision of our future.
Exactly. And then, of course, you need to write those goals down.
Ah, yes, the good old pen and paper. Something about putting it in writing makes it feel more real.
I think so, too. And the guide also, reminds us to be realistic about our timeframes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm.
I am definitely guilty of setting very unrealistic deadlines for myself.
Yeah,
But this guide encourages us to really break down those big goals into smaller milestones and give ourselves adequate time to actually achieve them.
it's all about, creating a plan that feels both challenging and achievable, because I think that's what keeps us motivated.
And even with the best plan, it's so easy to get discouraged along the way, especially as entrepreneurs. I think we tend to be very ambitious and set very high standards for ourselves,
Right.
which can sometimes backfire.
Yeah, I see that often our entrepreneurs often measure their progress against an ideal, and that can lead to feeling like you're constantly falling short, creating what the guide refers to as the gap.
Hmm.
But if you measure backward from your current position, you can actually see how far you've come. That's the gain.
Ooh, that's such a brilliant reframing. It is so easy to focus on what we haven't accomplished yet
Mm,
and totally forget to acknowledge how much progress we've already made.
right, it's a common trap. But celebrating those successes, no matter how small, is crucial. The guide even suggests keeping a gain log, a journal where you track all of your accomplishments, big and small.
Yeah.
It's just a way to shift your focus to the positive and really build momentum.
Oh, I love that idea. It's like giving ourselves permission to acknowledge and celebrate those milestones. Speaking of celebrating wins, the guide encourages entrepreneurs to cultivate a certain mindset. Do you remember what it is?
It's all about developing a growth mindset.
Of course, growth mindset. It's become such a buzzword lately. But what does that actually look like, in action for an entrepreneur?
Well, the guide highlights 7 key qualities of people with a growth mindset.
7 qualities. Okay, hit me with number 1.
All right, number 1 is being future focused. You're more interested in possibilities and future growth than dwelling on past experiences. You don't let failures define you. You view them as learning opportunities.
Makes sense. Entrepreneurs are visionaries, always looking ahead, envisioning what's next.
Exactly. Number 2 is being a contributor. You're driven by, making a positive impact, creating value for others, not just yourself.
It kind of ties back into that idea of unique ability, right? Using our talents to actually make a difference in the world.
Precisely. Number 3 is being a lifelong learner, always eager to acquire new knowledge, skills, and habits. The business landscape is constantly changing, and adaptability is key.
Couldn't agree more. I'm a podcast junkie for a reason. Always trying to learn something new. Okay, what's number 4?
Number 4 is outperforming yourself, not others. It's about constantly striving to reach new levels of achievement and surpass your previous accomplishments.
So it's not about competing, in some imaginary rat race, but rather pushing ourselves to be better than we were yesterday.
Exactly. And it's a more sustainable approach to success because you're not relying on external validation, but rather, on your own internal drive for growth.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, what are the last 3 qualities?
All right, number 5 is being increasingly grateful, acknowledging and appreciating the people and circumstances that have contributed to your success.
Gratitude is such a powerful force. It helps us stay grounded and appreciate how far we've come.
Absolutely. Number 6 is about enjoying the journey, finding joy and fulfillment in the process of growth and not just in the end result.
That's a big one for me. I am definitely a very destination-oriented person, always focused on the next goal. But this guide reminds us that, entrepreneurship is a marathon, not a sprint.
It is a marathon.
Yeah.
And if you're not enjoying the process, it's going to be a very long and grueling race.
Okay, last but not least, what is number 7?
Number 7 is about cultivating ever-growing confidence, embracing challenges and risks as opportunities to learn and strengthen your belief in yourself.
I love that. It's about embracing those moments of discomfort, knowing that they are ultimately pushing us to grow and become more resilient.
That's the heart of a growth mindset.
Yeah.
So we've talked about maximizing your productivity and setting those powerful goals ready to circle back and dive deeper into that unique ability we keep mentioning.
Absolutely. I've been waiting for this part. Let's unlock that superpower. Okay. So we've talked about so many great strategies already. We've talked about optimizing our productivity, setting these powerful goals, cultivating a growth mindset. But I keep coming back to this idea of unique ability. It feels like it's kind of the key that unlocks everything else.
It's definitely a core concept in these guides.
Yeah.
And to fully grasp its power, we need to move beyond just, defining what it is and really explore how to leverage it in our lives.
Okay. I'm all ears. What does the source material have to say about actually putting our unique ability into action?
Well, it suggests that the first step is to get really, really clear on exactly what your unique ability is. Remember, this isn't just about what you're good at. It's about those activities that really light you up, that you do effortlessly, that others consistently rely on you for.
Yeah, it's like finding that sweet spot where your passion and talent intersect. But honestly, figuring that out can feel a little overwhelming.
Yeah, and the guide offers some really practical tools and exercises to kind of help with that.
Okay, tell me more.
One of the simplest but most powerful suggestions is to just ask 8 to 10 people you trust. So friends, family, colleagues, mentors, and just ask them what they see as your unique ability. It's amazing what insights you can gain from those who know you well.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm actually kind of curious to try that myself. And the guide even includes like a sample letter that we can use to send to those folks, right?
It does.
Hmm.
But beyond those kind of informal conversations, the guide also recommends, exploring some more formal assessments, things like the Kolbe Index, the Clifton Strengths Assessment, and the Print Survey.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of some of those. They're like personality tests, right? But instead of just telling you, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, they give you like deeper insights into your natural strengths, your motivations, how you instinctively approach work and problem solving.
You nailed it. The Kolbe Index really focuses on your instinctive method of operation. Clifton Strengths helps you identify those top talent themes. And then the Print Survey uncovers those hidden drivers and motivations that influence your actions and behaviors.
It's like getting a user manual for yourself.
Yes.
Understanding those core motivations can be so powerful because it allows you to make choices that are truly aligned with who you are at your core.
Exactly. And that alignment is really key to both personal fulfillment and entrepreneurial success. But as we've seen throughout this whole deep dive, unique ability isn't just a solo endeavor. It also plays a crucial role in building a thriving team. Remember that concept of a self-managing company?
Oh, I haven't forgotten about that. It's still kind of a mind-blowing concept to me, a company that thrives even when the entrepreneur isn't constantly, working.
Right. It might seem like a far-off ideal, but these guides break it down into very achievable steps, starting with surrounding yourself with people whose unique abilities really complement your own.
Okay, so instead of trying to be a jack of all trades, we're building a team of specialists, each kind of excelling in their own area. And by delegating those tasks that fall outside of our own unique ability zone, we free ourselves up to focus on what we do best. It's a win-win.
It is. And this is where the entrepreneur's role starts to shift from manager to leader. You're no longer micromanaging every detail, but rather focusing on setting the vision, providing guidance, and really empowering your team to take ownership and make decisions.
That sounds incredibly freeing. But to be honest, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, myself included, really struggle with that letting go process. How do we overcome that fear of losing control?
Well, the guide emphasizes that building a self-managing company is a gradual process. It's not a sudden shift. It starts with identifying, the areas where you can confidently delegate, choosing the right people for those roles, and then gradually giving them more autonomy and responsibility.
So it's about taking those small steps, building trust with our team, and kind of proving to ourselves that they can actually handle those responsibilities.
That's a great way to put it. And the rewards are immense. Imagine having the freedom to pursue your passions, spend time with loved ones, or just simply take a break without worrying that the whole business is going to fall apart in your absence.
That sounds like the dream.
Mm.
But beyond that personal freedom, what are some of the other benefits of having a self-managing company?
Well, it also leads to greater engagement and motivation within your team. When people are given that autonomy and responsibility, they feel more invested in the company's success. And that often leads to increased productivity, innovation, and even higher profits.
Wow, so it really does seem like a win-win for everyone involved.
Right.
And the guide emphasizes that this is an ongoing journey. It's about continuous improvement, right?
Exactly. It's about constantly evaluating, your systems, your processes, your team dynamics, and looking for ways to really empower everyone to operate at their highest potential.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We've gone from like practical productivity hacks to this big picture vision of creating a company that can thrive even without our constant involvement.
And it all comes back to that central idea of understanding and leveraging your unique ability, both your own and that of your team.
Yeah, it's like a ripple effect, starting with that self-awareness and expanding outward
Yeah,
to create a business and a life that are truly aligned with our strengths and passions.
absolutely. It's been such a pleasure exploring these concepts with you. What stands out to you as maybe the most actionable takeaway from all this?
Honestly, there's so much to unpack here, but I think the biggest takeaway for me is that it's okay to let go of the things that don't light me up, to focus on my strengths and build a team that can handle everything else. It's like a permission slip to create a business and a life that feel both fulfilling and sustainable.
That's a fantastic insight. And for those of you listening, what resonated with you most today? What's one small step you can take this week to move towards that vision of entrepreneurial success and personal fulfillment? we'll leave you with that to ponder.
That's it for our deep dive into the Strategic Coach Entrepreneurial Success Strategies Guides. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing those entrepreneurial dreams.